So we're looking at Australia, Austria, Belgium, Canada. Cannot work for the same employer for more than 3 months unless you are from Korea, Japan, Canada or the UK. It's 100,000 NT in money. So 100,000 NT is around, basically you got to be qualified to actually be able to do that job according to the Taiwanese government. Welcome back, thank you for joining me again. Today I'm going to be showing you how you can come to Taiwan and work for 1 year with the potential to stay in the country for even longer if you wished. So how can we do it? It is with the Taiwan Working Holiday Visa. The Taiwan Working Holiday Visa allows you to stay in the country for 1 year to work, but as long as working isn't your primary reason for being in the country. I'm going to go through now the criteria, what you have to tick off to see if you're eligible for such a visa, and I'm going to give you a few little tips to help you decide if this is the right visa for you. And once the visa finishes after 1 year, what options do you have if you want to stay in the country? Let's get stuck into it. First of all, the eligible countries what can apply for the visa, for the working holiday visa. There's 16 in total. I'll just quickly go through them now, although you're going to see them on the screen right here. So we're looking at Australia, Austria, Belgium, Canada, Czech Republic, France, Germany, Hungary, Ireland, Japan, South Korea, Luxembourg, New Zealand, Poland, Slovakia, and the United Kingdom. So they're the 16 countries what are able at the moment, there may be a few additional ones, what are at the moment allowed to apply. However, there are some variations in the age. So unfortunately, the majority of countries, you have to be between 18 years old and 30 years old at the time when you submit the application, okay? Apart from Canada, Slovakia, Hungary, the maximum age is 35, good deal. And Czech Republic, the maximum age is 26. So just make sure that first, your country is eligible for the working holiday visa. And second, that you do fall within the age bracket. Now, it is okay if you start the application, for example, when you're 29 and then you turn 30 after the application whilst you're here. That's okay. And then after that, there are ways which you can extend your stay here, which I will go through a little bit later on. Apart from the age and nationality, there are also some other criteria that you have to reach. Let me just go through them step by step now. You must be living in the country at the time of your application. So if you are from the UK, you have to make the application from the UK. You can't come to Taiwan on a visit visa and then apply for the working holiday visa. It's not going to work. You also mustn't have had a working holiday visa before, so you can only do it the one time, okay? So it's very important. You can't do it when you're 24 and then renew or apply to get the working holiday visa again when you're 28, okay? It has to be the first time, which will make you eligible to apply for it. You must be able to prove that you have at least 100,000 NT in money. So 100,000 NT is around £2,500. So what's that? Around 3,200 USD, something like this. This is to prove that you have enough money to finance yourself during your stay, just in case you don't get a job or you're not working. Because the primary reason that you come on this working holiday visa isn't actually to work, which I will go through in just a few seconds as well. And you need to show that you have got the funds to either find an apartment, find a hotel. When I say an apartment, I mean a rental for 1 year, which is possible, or be able to rent a room. Now, if you haven't already watched most of my videos on my channel, you can find a load of videos and information, especially the guides on the Taiwan Guide playlist, but also about renting accommodation as well. Now, normally you will have to give 1 month's rent in advance and 2 months deposit. So if you can find an apartment for 10,000 NT, around £250, I say an apartment, it's going to be a very small studio, it's possible, you would need £250 for the first rent. I'm going to talk in NT dollars because if you're thinking about coming to Taiwan, you need to get used to it. You'll need 10,000 NT for the first month's rent and 20,000 NT for the deposit, which is 10,000 and another deposit 10,000. So 30,000 NT would be your starting cost. So that's the minimal requirement in terms of proving your finances. Now, as I just previously touched on, you must be able to prove that the primary reason for coming to Taiwan isn't to work. So on the application, don't put that you're going to be job searching. That is another visa, which again, you can check the visa video I've done on my channel. Now, you have to show that you're coming as a tourist. So maybe just booking a tour or buy a ticket online to visit CKS Memorial or some other landmark, just to show that you're coming here as a tourist and getting a job or working, maybe an afterthought or an option after the first few weeks or even the first month, okay? So get out of your head that you're coming on this visa to get a job and work. You don't want to be doing that. Even though if that is your intention, don't put it on the application. You just want to be first coming as a tourist or meet friends or visit some landmarks. And then secondary reason is maybe get some work. Very important. That was from a website called visaguide.world, which is really, really useful. It cuts out of a lot of boring information. However, if we are looking at the actual Taiwan government website officially, it also says that you need to show an onward flight ticket, okay? Now, to do this, the best option would be just to have an onward ticket to the Philippines. So that shows that you're actually leaving Taiwan, you've got no intentions of staying over the 1 year. Now, on this point, if you do get a job within the year, your employer, depending what industry or what job it is, may want to then put you onto a permanent work permit after. I'll go into that a little bit later because it is possible. So you don't have to leave and be gone forever. You can then just go back, re-enter on a tourist visa and then get a work permit through the employer. But there's a few different options I'm talking about there. But also, that is very important that you do have to show an onward ticket. Philippines is probably the cheapest one. You're looking around 4,000 NT. Even if you don't use it, even if you do actually go to the Philippines for a stay, but you got to remember you only have to show an onward ticket out of a country. It can be a single one-way ticket to the Philippines just to show, and that might be even cheaper. It might be 2,000 NT. You need to realize that you can't also bring any spouse or family members in on your working holiday visa or sponsor them either. That is a no-no. And finally, just make sure that you've got medical insurance. So you need to show that you have full medical and hospitalization insurance during your stay. Okay, so again, you might, if you don't really want to do that, you can just get the cheapest insurance you can find just for the sake of showing the evidence that you've got it. So all this information is on this website here, on the actual government, Taiwan government website. I will just actually I can't put the hyperlink in the video, but I will just put it at the top here so you can just type it in. Or you can just type into Google, Taiwan Working Holiday Visa, and it will come up. And the Taiwanese government website is normally BOCA, so it's like boca.gov.taiwan, which you can see at the top here. So what kind of jobs can you actually do on this working holiday visa? Well, it's valid for 1 year. However, having experience with some previous clients who have come across on this visa, be aware that it will be there in your passport. So you don't get like a separate individual letter or notice. It's in your passport to show that it's valid for 6 months, and then it's automatically renewed for another 6 months. Now, one thing is, as I help people who come over to settle in Taiwan find apartments, accommodation, and we're renting and the contracts, by the way, if you need any of them services, you just need to visit this webpage on my website, helpfulmatt.com. So when you go onto my services, you will see that there's different tiers, and depending on how much help or service you need, the price will differ. It's all affordable. I have come across, in my experiences, some agents or landlords not really understanding what the holiday working visa is. and are a little bit confused if it is a proper visa or not, because you actually haven't got your ARC or some kind of document which actually says that this is an ARC. Now, your ARC is an Alien Residence Certificate. But normally, if you just show them and let them have a printout, and they print out a copy of your passport showing the visa, it's normally okay. However, if you do want to just rent a room, normally you don't need 2 months deposit. You may only have to pay 1 month deposit or 1 month in hand rent. That's if you're doing a room, or if you're doing a kind of short stay rental as well. You may even want to live in a hostel if you want, okay? And again, on my playlist, there's a load of different options for hotels and accommodation as well. Going back onto what kind of jobs you will be able to do when you're working. Basically, this working holiday visa gives you access to any work, which a lot of foreigners who come to the country can't do, because some of them can't get a work permit, okay? So this is basically like having a work permit for any industry. Now, normally a lot of foreigners are just tied down to teaching jobs. However, you can come, and it will help if you can speak a bit of Mandarin, you can come and get a job for a Taiwanese company. Look, it might be a school, so you might teach for a year. You might go and work in a bar, in a restaurant, in a shop. You can work in a 7-Eleven if you want, in a factory. This allows you to basically work for a company. Although you will be on a working holiday visa, there are some conditions. You cannot work for the same employer for more than 3 months unless you are from Korea, Japan, Canada or the UK. And if you're from Australia, you can work for the same employer for up to 6 months, but no longer. So there are some stern conditions which may affect your decision making there. Also, if you are applying for a technical or professional job, you've also got to meet the guidelines. Basically, you've got to be qualified to actually be able to do that job according to the Taiwanese government. Only UK nationality or UK passport holders are eligible for the Taiwanese national health insurance. I don't know why, it just says it on the rules. And finally, you can't change the working holiday visa onto another visa. However, I touched on that already. You basically just leave the country, come back on another visa, having already made a good relationship with your employer. Now, you do have to understand that on this kind of basis, some organizations, I'm not going to say any names, I'm not going to say that this is the truth. Apparently, allegedly, some organizations won't kind of make it official. So they will just come, take you on your working holiday visa, you won't be officially working for them, and you don't sign any contract, and they'll just give you cash for the work you do. If you go to a restaurant and you're going to wash dishes, okay, you might get cash in hand. Even if you work with some schools, they might just give you cash in hand. You might not even sign a contract. But later on, if after the 1 year you do want to stay and continue living and working in Taiwan, most likely, if you've been good with your employer and the employer's been good with you, you have a good relationship, they can then start the process to get in you your permanent residency, your ARC, and a work permit. Now, all the details for ARC and work permit you can find in the Taiwan Guide playlist on my channel. Take a look, very useful information. Now, it may be difficult, for example, after that, if you're trying to get a teaching job, but you haven't got a degree, because most of the schools will ask for a degree. However, if there is a way, I'm not saying there is legally, but if there's a way that the organization can put you on as a different employee, as in like consultant of education, okay, and hire you in that regards, look, stranger things have happened. You may, after the year, have already started the process in starting your own business and getting your residency through, your ARC through your company. That is possible. Or you can change, you can leave the country, come back on a tourist visa, or come back on a business visa, entrepreneur visa, and go through the route that way. There are a few options, but the first thing is to get into the country and get that 1 year under your belt experience to then allow you to learn about a bit more about the lay of the land and take it from there. And one of the most important points, just making sure that you have got the finances to prove that you can afford to live while you're here if you wasn't working. Please remember, don't put down on the application that you're coming here to find a job. And with the onward ticket, if you don't buy an onward ticket, it's okay, because if you already prove you got enough money to live here, then you have evidence that you can buy an onward ticket if you need to. If you are thinking of teaching English once you're here, look, it doesn't matter for the year if you got a degree or not, but if you got a degree, even better. You would benefit from getting teaching English as a foreign language certification. Now, a lot of people say, no, it's rubbish, you don't need one. Look, okay, there are native English speakers who don't need a TEFL qualification. However, it just helps you when you're going up against people for jobs. If you can put on your CV, you've got a degree, you've got a TEFL certificate, hopefully over 120 hours, that seems to be the industry expectation and above. Okay, you can actually get ahead of other people who have got the same experience or qualifications than you, apart from they haven't done any TEFL certificates. So the one I did over a decade ago now, very reliable and globally renowned, is ITTT. Now, the link to my page is on here. If you get onto a course on here, you can choose any of the courses, you get a 10% discount to get TEFL certified. And the best thing about it, you can do it all online. Now look, people are paying thousands of pounds for a CELTA or a Cambridge TESOL or whatever. Look, you do, in some cases, it may be helpful. It helped me a little bit, and it's helped me to get subbing jobs and permanent jobs as well when I first came into the country. But it may give you some skills in terms of ideas for classroom management and actually what you may expect when you are faced with children who don't speak English. So get on to my webpage at the top here. You can get 10% off any courses. You can choose a 120-hour course. You can choose business course, specialized, one-on-one, or even working online or teaching online. You can do all that. Look, it's a reputable company and it will go nicely alongside your degree as well. So get stuck into that. That will help you. I'm not saying it will guarantee you a teaching job. You've got to do everything on your own after that, including the interview, etc. But this may help your CV to push you at the front of the queue. And if you do need any more advice or support, get in touch with me. I do offer consultation to teachers and coaches. Hey, you may even be able to get a coaching job, okay? Football, basketball, or soccer, depending where you come from. You may be able to get a job because there are academies or private schools, private academies which offer such jobs for people who are already in the country and with their licenses. Get your coaching licenses, get your TEFL certifications. Why not? So that's an overview of the Working Holiday Visa. Get online, get applying for it now, and I wish you all the best with it, because if you need any more information on visas, on apartment costs, on actually living costs and cost of living in Taiwan, in the country, how to get to the country, you want to be clicking on the playlist and videos right now.